What is going on, everybody? It's Nothing But Skills, and in today's video we're going to be showing you the skill build that I have fallen in love with. I've been running this a lot with my friends when I run in group play, and just because of the bonuses that I give them. And if you notice real quick right off the bat, I am marking the enemy. So if I'm marking the enemy, you see the flag, I am running some version of a true Patriot build. But we'll show the full breakdown of this shield build and why I like running it like this. This gives me damage, it gives my teammates damage, and it reduces the amount of damage that I'm intaking from enemies. And I'll explain how the whole build works in a second. Now, what I do really like about this build is I'm a tank and I can pretty much out-tank anything. But let's get into the build itself. So the first thing you notice right off the bat, I am running the technician specialization, and that is because of the hive that I can get. And you can only unlock this hive with the technician specialization, and right off the bat at the bottom you'll see that I do get that skill repair of 35%, and that's because I am tier 2 skill with this. So this, you can leave it on your backpack, you can put it down however you want. I usually leave mine mounted to my back and it works amazing. And when you have this, this is healing your shield and keeping your shield up. And that's why this is actually probably one of the best ways to run a shield build is with the technician class. So let's get into how this build is actually broken down though, and then we'll get back into the skills. So let's talk about the build. We are running a 4-piece true Patriot, and we're running it because the 2-piece gives us ammo capacity, 3-piece gives us 30% magazine size. So that's not really why we're running it. We're running because of the 4-piece. What the 4-piece does is red, white, and blue. Every 2 seconds, enemies you shoot receive a stacking debuff of red, white, and blue. Now red, it amplifies the enemy damage taken by 8%. White, shooting the enemy repairs you and your allies' armor by 5% once every second. And blue decreases the enemy's damage dealt by 8%. But if you actually put the backpack, this is all going to increase. So we'll talk about that in just a few. Now, for the full flagging the enemy, so enemies that die while under the effect of all 3 debuffs, so red, white, and blue, create a 5-meter explosion, dealing damage equal to their total health and their armor. Explosion damage is reduced on named enemy deaths. So that's why it's really, really good, because if you do kill that enemy that's full flag, it will cause a huge explosion, and that explosion can actually kill some enemies, some of the tankier enemies too. That's what's really cool about it. But the way I have this mass rolled, I have armor at the core attribute. We have armor regeneration, which this works with your shield for some odd reason. I'm still trying to figure this out, but it does really work with your shield. And then we have the 12% protection from elites. So this is how I spec this one right here. For the chest is the main go-to for this one. It's the Point Man Healer Guard chest. We have 143,000 armor. We have 9.1% hazard protection on here. I decided to put a little bit explosive resistance on this build because, you know, those explosive damages come in handy when people are throwing it at you, right? And then we have 12% protection from elites. So explosive resistance, I do stack on 2 pieces. And then, of course, for the mob, protection from elites. Now, the reason why I want Point Man is because Perfect Vanguard. Deploying a shield makes it invulnerable for 5 seconds. That means you can't take any damage for 5 seconds. And grants 50% of your armor and bonus armor to all allies for 20 seconds. Now, the cooldown on this is 25 seconds. So it's pretty, like, you can have this up a lot. You can have this up a lot when I tell you that. And just take a look at this. So I'm going to deploy my shield. And then look at my friend's name. Look at his name. See how all he has that bonus armor right there? So he's getting that 50% of my bonus armor. Look how long it lasts. As long as he's not even getting shot right now because they're all focusing me. But he's keeping that bonus armor. A big chunk of it. And, I mean, who wouldn't want that bonus armor for 20 seconds? If you can stack up a little bit more armor, you can almost get up to 1,000,000 extra armor for your teammates if you could build this build perfectly. So if you're going to run some type of shield build, well, Perfect Vanguard is probably going to be the chest piece you want. So look out for Point Man. 100% the chest piece I would go with. A great piece to add to any shield build that you currently have. Now, if you are running solo, that's where you probably might not benefit as much from it. But if you're running in duels, squads, trios, definitely Perfect Vanguard is the way to go. But I'll let you guys mess with that yourself. Now, for the holster, we're running the named holster. This is the RNK named holster called the Forge. It has 1 skill tier. It always comes with 10% shield health, which nothing else comes with. The RNK holster gives you 15% incoming repairs, so that's going to work on your shield. And then 4,900 armor regeneration I put on there. So this piece right here is exactly where you want to go. And I actually have one that's pretty nice, and I'm glad I was able to get this one. Now for the knee pads, we're running the second piece of True Patriot. We have armor for the core attribute, and then on this one, we went with the armor regeneration max roll. For the gloves, this is our third piece, and this is gonna have 170,000 armor roll maxed out, and then we put, instead of armor regeneration here, I went with explosive resistance. So we got the 20% explosive resistance on this build. So you can decide what you wanna do. If you feel like you're not getting hit with a lot of explosions, then go ahead, put armor regeneration, whatever you want. Now for the backpack, this is the piece that I recommend you guys running the True Patriot on. So we have the armor on the core attribute, then we have armor regeneration. But what I want you to pay attention to is look at the red, blue, and white, right? So we get 8% for amplify enemies damage, 5% once every second for healing, and then for blue, we get the decrease the enemy's damage by 8%. But on the backpack, it has a talent. Now what this talent does, it's gonna buff that red, that white, and that blue. So let's take a look at it real quick. So if we look at the backpack talent, right, that it has, it's at the very bottom. It says Patriotic Boost. Increases red, white, and blue debuff strength. Red goes from 8% to 12%, white goes from 5% to 8%, and blue goes from 8% to 12%. So that means amplify the enemy's damage taken by 12% over that 8%. That's you and your teammates hitting harder. The white goes from 5% to 8% once every second. So now shooting the enemies repair you and your allies' armor by 8%, and then blue decreases the enemy's damage dealt by 12%. So they're taking a debuff of 12% for you and your allies, right? So you're not gonna take 12% less damage. That's why running this shield build with the True Patriot is actually really good, and my teammates tend to like it, and they like that debuff because they're gonna be hitting harder, right? If they're running those rifle glass cannon builds, or they're running those rifle builds, period, they're gonna be hitting 12% harder if I'm debuffing them and taking 12% less damage. So that definitely helps out the squad right there. So yes, of course, you can run some builds solo, but at the end of the day, if you run this build in a team, it's going to be better, right? This shield build is going to excel, especially with Perfect Vanguard, in a group play setting. Now, I'm telling you, I've cleared heroic control points with this build. It takes me a little bit longer than certain, but I've cleared some in like 10 minutes with just using my Liberty, and that's the pistol that we run with this build. So for the pistol, we are running the exotic Liberty. Now the reason why you want to run this pistol is because the total damage on it is pretty good at 317,000, max size is 10, but really the talent, Liberty or Death, gain a stack on each hit up to 30, right? Headshots consume the stacks, repairing your shield by 3% per stack. So that means if you get a 30 stack, you hit the guy in the head, that's 90% of your shield, right? Because we have 3% per stack, up to 30, times that by 3, 90%. You repair your shield by 90%, which is amazing, which is really, really cool. And it can very, very save your shield in those hard-hitting situations where those enemies are hitting you. Now, if you want to run a different pistol, go ahead and run it because you feel like you can mark more enemies. You can do that too, but I just feel like the Liberty works really good hand in hand with this build. And if you look closely, when I am firing my Liberty, there's a little stack on the side of it. So right now I have like a 4 stack, and as I hit the enemy, right, as I hit them, I will keep building that stack, and once I hit a headshot, that stack will go away. So that's just right there. I only had like a 5 stack and the stack went away, but I didn't even need it. But what's crazy about it is when you do take damage, this helps. So I recommend trying the Liberty first, and then if you feel like it's too slow for you, you don't really like it, then switch it up. If we get into the skills, so let's get into the skills. Now that you know that I'm running the 4-piece True Patriot, I'm running the R&K holster, I'm running the point man chest piece, I'm running it with the Liberty pistol. Now for the skills, let's go we just want to take a quick look at our skills. And for the shield that we're going to run is the shield that you're only allowed to run a pistol with, and the reason why is because it's going to give us the most health. We have 13,700,000 health on there. The active regeneration on this is 175,000. Holster regeneration is 185,000. We are getting the tier 6 by running 1 yellow and 5 blues right there. So we still were able to get tier 6 on the shield. And I'm just running shield health mod, so my shield health could actually improve. These are horrible. I just crafted them for this video. And then right here, you can actually put holster regeneration, whatever you want here. Just I'll let you decide on this one. But the other two, you do want to have shield health. And if you can get better ones than the ones that I had, that's what you want. And then of course, you want to run the hive that you get with a technician. And that's going to give me my skill repair of 35%. That's going towards the shield. So definitely what you guys want to run with this one, and I recommend doing it. And then also you get the buff amount of 30%. So those are the two things you do want to run with this. These are two skills, and this is how I like to run this build. This is some gameplay right here of me doing the solo heroic control point. This is, you know, at the very beginning you probably saw me killing the boss. That was solo, and this is the very beginning of it. This is a little clip of me marking enemies, just taking damage, putting out enough damage to actually kill these guys, and with that extra 12% outgoing damage that I get from the buff, and then the 12% less incoming damage, this actually works really good. So let me know what you guys think about this build. I've been running this, I enjoy it, I have fun with it. I think it's a really cool build, and I will see you guys in the next Division 2 video. But until then, nothing but skills out.